Welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 346. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
Can we just take a minute to appreciate the fact that we're still podcasting?
Yeah. 346 episodes in.
Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm a little jet lagged.
Yeah.
About 2 hours ago, I started feeling like shitty, and I feel really bad, like almost like flu sick bad. You know what I'm saying? But without any of the other feelings of the flu, just like terrible.
Anyways, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Mimi's got her cute costume on. And we're going to rip this.
We're going to rip this, guys. This is an episode that we've been thinking of doing for quite some time. We brought it up a few times. What it is a breakdown, some of the highlights of, some of the main things that we think the Biden-Harris, the Biden-Harris, what do they call it? Administration. So some of their wins. Maybe not so big of wins that they've done over the last 4 years.
Honestly, it's just things that have happened in the past 4 years. Not all of it is obviously directly related to them. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Because some things like Congress votes on, but I mean, Biden does sign off on it in the end anyways. But
right.
So yeah, it's just things that have happened the past 4 years that we thought we should just remember.
We should remember. We should not forget these things.
Yeah. Okay,
so number one, the withdrawal from Afghanistan in August of 2021.
Ooh, that was a fun one.
That was an interesting one. So they decided to just pull troops. And by pulling troops, they left over $7 billion worth of military equipment behind. That is now in the now in the Taliban's hands. Within weeks, so they were assured that if they did this, so they assured the people, and they assured the Afghan partners we had there, right? The friendlies, the allies. Thank you. The Afghan allies we had there. They're like, yeah, nope. You'll be good. The government will be strong. The Taliban won't take over. Everything will be fine. Like, this pullout will be all right. Within weeks, the Taliban took over and the government collapsed. With that pullout, 13 troops died on the terrorist attack at Kabul's airport. Which marked the first casualties in the country since February of 2020. So I thought that was pretty interesting. We listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump. Turns out, Trump sat down with Afghanistan's leader, the Taliban leader, and said, "Hey, here's the deal. You aren't going to harm another U.S. Troop, civilian, anything. If you do, you'll die." And so for 18 months, in a war zone, not a single American died. And then Biden fucked that up.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, was it more than 13 or was it just
13 died there? More died, but
okay.
13 died there.
Because, yeah, that was like the major big thing was like there was that bombing that caused the 13 to die.
Yep.
And let's remember, I think someone said in a debate that there hasn't been any troops dying in war in his term.
Did he say that?
I thought he did, because then everyone's just like, okay, what about the 13 people that died? Or no, did he just say that we weren't in any active war zones?
Kamala said that.
Yeah. Anyway,
so Kamala, 1 second, I have that. Hold on.
Oh, 2 down.
It was 2 down from there?
Yeah. Comment about no troops being in war zone. Specifically, the Defense Department and news outlets have reported that there are about 2,500 U.S. service members in Iraq and about 900 in Syria fighting against Islamic State militias. Additionally, thousands of U.S. service members have been deployed to the Middle East since the Israel-Hamas war started in October of 2023.
Yeah, so, what Kamala said in the debate against Trump, that there's zero soldiers in war zones, is very, very false, because there's actually thousands deployed in war zones right now.
And I'm sure anyone, even, I feel like liberals should have seen some of the videos of the fucking troops being like, hey guys, did you hear we're not in an active war zone? And then they're like, well, then where are we?
Where are we? That was funny. That video was circulating around. That was really funny. But that was debunked fast. That her claim was debunked fast. Like Kamala's claim that there was no soldiers in war zones was debunked immediately.
But they didn't debunk it during the debate, right? No.
They did not fact check her during the debate once. Yeah. But people... people were like, check this. Where do you want to go next?
We could go with money.
All right. So, February of 2022 was the Ukraine war started. Since then, since February of 2022, that is documented, is $174 billion have been sent to Ukraine. That's documented. So $174 billion of taxpayer funds went to Ukraine since February 2022. There's also a war in Israel. And so far, since October of 2023, in just military aid alone, okay? U.S. has sent them $22.76 billion.
Do you want to know something wild? So, just to kind of stem off of this, we send a ridiculous amount of money for foreign aid to countries that I don't think need it. But that is just me. So, if you're ever curious, there's a website called foreignassistance.gov. And you can literally go on there and see how much money we're sending to foreign countries and which foreign countries. And they even give you some broad, what activities they're going to, or what government sectors is sending them the money, all this stuff. Israel, we've given them the same amount of money every single year. According to this website, we didn't give them any extra money in 2023.
Yeah, it's not true.
Right?
And also, there was a graph, one of those graphs on a video that shows how much money over time was sent to certain countries. And Israel was over $1 trillion. The U.S. had sent over $1 trillion to Israel.
What part of the year was that? That war? Was it the end?
October 2023.
So they only have reported through quarter 3 of 2023.
That's
shocking.
Convenient. That's really convenient. Because that means, there's a lot more money from Ukraine that hasn't been reported yet. It's absurd, dude. We really, really need to fucking look as a country as to where the fuck our money is being sent, dude. Because we had the hurricanes in North Carolina. Just a fucking disaster. A disaster. Couple episodes ago, we talked about it from the first-hand accounts of people that are actually on the ground there. And Kamala doing photo ops with helicopters filled with stuff, food,
supplies,
water, supplies, all the shit that's going right there, that never took off. It was all just for optics. They never actually flew it in.
Or there was another one of there's a whole bunch of like food and water set up to like for people to come to get to pick up, and all of a sudden this helicopter flew over and flew it, like all of it just went flying because the helicopter was so close to the ground, and they're like, what the fuck is this helicopter doing? And it was very obviously like a military helicopter.
And then
Anyways, yeah.
they said I saw an article while I was looking for this, that they said they would give $100 million. So think about this, guys. $100 million. This is what they said they would give to help rebuild roadways and shit like that. The same time, they sent another $400 million to Ukraine, and another $400 million the next week to Ukraine, and another $400 million coming next week to you. So $1.2 billion just to Ukraine again.
Billion or million?
Billion, so $1.2 billion over 3 weeks.
Okay, you said million.
Yeah, $400 million, $400 million, $400 million.
$400 million. Got it. Okay.
To equal $1.2 billion over a span of 3 weeks.
Yep.
And they said they're going to send and allocate $100 million. Okay, how about they're in our country? How about we get them fixed up first before we send any more money to anyone fucking else, any other country? Let's get our country fixed first, but they clearly don't give a fuck. Which leads into...
Oh, I'll finish this first. So we give money to 209 different countries every year.
Makes sense.
209. Distributed in 2023 and 2022, which now that I just looked it up, 2023 isn't complete on here.
Right.
But each of those years, we sent $70 billion.
Which we sent way more, because we sent just $174 billion that's documented to Ukraine since 2022 alone. So that's way fucked up.
Right. So I don't know where they record that. Because they obviously have to record it differently than for this.
Right.
But still, like I was telling Shaun, we were sending like millions of dollars to like Poland and to actually almost every European country, almost every South American country, almost every African country. Like we're sending money to so many people.
Dude, and it's to keep going on what I was going on before. That's our fucking money, you stupid fucks. It's income tax that they're taking and sending, or they're printing more money, deflating our fucking dollar to give it to other countries, dude. What the fuck? We're literally hey, you're in a goddamn plane. The plane's going down, dude. What do they say? Put your mask on before you put the fucking person's mask on next to you. Otherwise, you'll die. And then you can't help them. Okay, guys, they say it in the military. If you get shot, okay, start doing aid to yourself first. Fix yourself. Don't get shot and then try to rescue someone else, because it's doing nobody any good. They also say, hey, if your teammate gets shot, okay, your teammate gets shot, so you're in a firefight, your teammate gets shot. You neutralize the target before you go save your teammate. Because if you go save your teammate while you're still getting shot at, you're going to fucking die. And then nobody's surviving it, okay? So anyways, guys, the whole moral of the story is, why, if we've got people dying, Hawaii, right? Last year?
Yep.
Hawaii. What was 2022?
Hurricane Ian.
Hurricane Ian. We got Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. We got people dying all over the fucking place in the U.S. Literally dying. And what are we doing instead of helping them and sending them money? Nope. Fuck them. Fuck helping them. We're going to send our money to other countries. Yeah. The dumbest shit, dude.
So, fun little fact. Hurricane Ian, if you guys don't remember, was in 2022. It's estimated that it did about $112 billion in damages. And an article that I could find was from a year after a whole year after Hurricane Ian. They're saying how the federal government was able to helped them with $8.6 billion. So a fraction of what the damages were. And also a fucking year later that they were finally able to talk about this. And I was telling Shaun, FEMA like said it was giving like 1.86 billion or something. And we're like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. To like 386,000 households. We did the math. It was $9,000.
3,000.
I thought it was 9.
Oh.
I don't remember. Either way, still a minuscule amount of money to every household.
Right.
They did have some other programs that FEMA did support. So like a flood insurance helping one. So you got about $90,000 if you applied for that one.
Yeah, it was 3,000. The other one was 3,000.
Okay.
So it's 3,000 that every household got roughly. And the other one was 90,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it was like a fraction of the people that got. It was only 47,000 people that got part of the other, the flood insurance one. So yeah, we should help ourselves first.
Yeah. Well, remember with Hurricane Helene, just 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, Kamala going on and saying that they'll give a $600 loan to each household affected. Mm-hmm. A $600 loan to each household affected.
We got more money for fucking COVID.
Yeah, dude. And it wasn't a loan. It was just given.
Yeah.
And it was per person. It doesn't even make sense. But then FEMA came out and said that they are all out of funds because they spent their money, their budget, on helping place illegal immigrants throughout the U.S.
But that was technically a different budget, Shaun.
Yeah, well then why are they out of money?
I don't know. So we can go to that. Obviously, it's a record.
Keep going.
The record high immigration. Was that?
Had to have been.
Damn. Record high in immigration. People believe we're up to 21 million illegal immigrants in the country.
Yep.
Obviously, Biden and Harris removed a lot of Trump's border policies. Do you remember any of them offhand?
What policies got removed?
Yeah.
I don't. I
don't either.
But they said that like the first day they went down and removed policies and input new policies that would work better. That did not work better.
Yeah. And obviously they're allowing terrorists and prisoners to come into the country. Mm-hmm. Fun other part, they're giving illegal immigrants free phones, EBT, money, healthcare. We've seen plenty of people post that they've seen like illegal immigrants get like $12,000 in food stamps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they're also obviously shipping them all over the country. And you've heard other people say that they've like lost like 350,000 children that have illegally come into the country even.
Yeah, they don't know what happened to 350,000 children that they like input and then released, but did not release them to their parents, just released them to people without proof that they were actually like their family.
But remember, Trump was the one dividing families.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, pretty interesting. So you discussed the foreign countries thing. So then, the next thing we could go to before we go to the petroleum is we could do the student loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
So Biden wanted to forgive $400 billion. And so he wanted to forgive $400 billion worth of student loans. The Supreme Court shot it down, and he in a 6-3 vote, Biden said, "Fuck it, we're gonna do it anyways." And as of now, they've forgiven $175 billion worth of student loans through taxpayer dollars.
Man, it's like that could have funded, some of these hurricanes.
It's just like, dude, there's like checks and balances in the government, or they're supposed to be, right? And so he submits a bill. Let's get rid of $400 billion. They say no. That's unconstitutional. We can't do that with taxpayer dollars. And then he's like, fuck it. We're going to do it anyways. I just don't understand how.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's when I was reading the articles, because there's multiple about it. I was just like, but how? Like
how did, and that was a while ago now, actually.
Yeah. So so the Supreme Court and also the Congress both turned it down.
Mm-hmm.
And they just did it anyways. I really didn't understand like how the fuck they were just like, we're just gonna make taxpayers pay for it anyways, and forgave it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $175 billion in taxpayer funds that went to doing that, which is fucked up because, dude, we've talked about it multiple times on the show before. That those people that went to school and got those loans, in theory, should have gotten themselves an education where they're able to pay back those loans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so now you're making people who didn't go to school,
or who did pay off their loans,
did pay off their loans because they actually were responsible enough to pay off their loans, now indirectly are paying off your student loans because you weren't responsible enough, or you didn't finish your education, or you didn't get a good enough job to pay for it. And so, or you got a useless degree that actually didn't allow you to get more money. And so it's so irritating that that's where our tax money is going, when it could go, like, I'm going to be very honest with you. Knowing my taxpayer money is going to help pay some fucking dumb fuck who got a gender study degree instead of going to help people that were hit in a fucking natural disaster is bullshit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit. And so it's like, what say do we have anymore? Like, what can we do? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what we can do.
I don't either.
It's just, it's fucked that's how we're being represented by the people that are put into place and supposed to represent us, and they just fuck us.
Mm-hmm. They also fucked us by adding thousands of IRS agents to get more taxpayer money.
Yeah, so in 2021, Biden approved hiring 87,000 IRS agents, and that would be from 2022 to 2031, so over a 10-year span. And that would be to track down tax cheats. So they're going to essentially double the size of the IRS to try to bring in more taxes.
And trust me, Shaun and I have noticed, because if we have, like, we've gotten so many more tax bills this year.
Not only that, last year, we've talked about it on the show before multiple times. Last year, so 2023, we were sent a bill. We had to pay $17,000 they claimed we owed. $17,000, 17 and some $1,000 that they claimed we owed from 2022. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. We sent it to your mom. Your mom reviews it. Turns out they actually owed us a few dollars. Mm-hmm. They actually owed us a few dollars. So she wrote up a letter, explanation, sent it back. Hey, this is false. You're trying to charge $17,000. You actually owe us like $3 or whatever. Never heard from them again about it.
Nope.
They ended up sending us another one, but this one was only for like $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, sent it to your mom. She looked at it. Nope, this is bullshit. None of this is true. Same thing. Sent it back. And so it's happened a few times. And here's the thing, dude. How many people are they getting with it? We're just a couple average Joes over here, and we've been hit with, combined of all the like fraudulent tax charges they say is over $30,000. Mm-hmm. And so there's if they sent to just us over $30,000 in fraudulent claims that we owe in taxes, what's other people getting?
Right.
And what are people just sending the bill for? Mm-hmm. Thinking that, oh hey, if the IRS is sending me this, I clearly owe it. Mm-hmm. No, dude, you don't.
And it's like sucked because like now I've had to like use my time to like double check every tax bill we fucking get to make sure that it's legit or not. Because like we got another one and Shaun just like, there's no way we owe this. We actually did end up having to owe it.
Yeah, we missed one payment for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a whole lot of money anyways, but still, like, it was just like,
we have to check now.
And it's just such a waste of fucking time.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're listening and you get random tax bills, look into it, or have your accountant look into it. Probably.
Deflating the dollar, we'll hit that, and then we're on to the next.
Do you want to do strategic petroleum?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so if you guys can remember, coming up on midterm 2022 elections, gas prices started coming down. And Sam and I were talking about it on the podcast quite a bit. We first heard it, I think, on Real AF, Andy Frisella's podcast on Real AF. I think we also, after we heard it on Real AF, we heard it on PBD. We did some research looking into it ourselves and seeing what they were doing. And so what they were doing is they were selling off barrels of oil in our strategic petroleum reserves to artificially decrease gas prices so that at midterm elections we would vote accordingly.
Yeah.
So when Trump left office, we had roughly 638 million barrels of oil in the reserve. The reserve is very important because the reserve is essentially our safety net for military use. When we were producing our own oil, it's not as important because we can keep producing oil. But as of now, since we don't produce as much oil, because so many of the pipelines and everything got shut down, and so much of the drilling got shut down, that now we rely heavily on other countries to get our oil.
By the way, Biden's first act, in like the first day he was in office, was to revoke the permit for the Keystone XL pipeline.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So they put a stop to drilling and producing oil in the country. So now we rely on other countries like Russia, and a lot of countries in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And so, and that's, part of the theory on us spending time or getting into wars in the Middle East was for getting oil from them and stuff. And so anyways, with relying on other countries, we need a strong petroleum reserve, because if they decide to quit giving us oil, then we have it in case, we need it for wars, things like that, so the country just doesn't shut down, right? So anyways, 638 million barrels. I think the most we ever had was like 760 million.
I think the most we can store is like 760 million.
Okay, so most we can store is like 760 million. So pretty high up there. Well, so Joe Biden said, fuck that. He sold 180 million barrels in 2022 over, I think, like a 6-month span on the lead up to the election.
Yeah.
And then the Department of Energy, which was mandated by Congress, sold another 38 million barrels from the reserve, which puts us at a current of 385 billion in reserve, which is the lowest the reserve has been in 40 years. And so to bring that reserve back up where it should be is going to require taxpayer dollars to buy more oil.
Yeah. And there's an article that we'll make a blog post about all this and have all these articles in there. If you read the article, it talks about too how why did I lose my train of thought?
I don't know. In the article with the gas prices.
Yeah. Shoot, I don't remember. I can just pull up the article.
Yep.
But it's a very interesting thing to just like watch and like see where prices are at and whatnot. I know they are slowly adding back to the Petroleum Reserve, but it's slow. Oh, they only have enough. The Department of Energy only has enough in their budget to buy another 2 million barrels this year.
Yeah.
And their plan, which actually got canceled, thank God, Congress's plan, I should say, which thank God it got canceled, was to sell off more barrels to help fund other, what did I tell you? Fund
other government programs.
Yeah, other government programs.
They wanted to sell off another 140 million barrels to fund other government programs, but it got shut down because it's already way too low.
Well, it got canceled, so it was like already in the in the works, and it got canceled.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's really good.
So yeah, it's a really good. It's an interesting article to read. About the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
Yep.
So yeah, we're about half is what we should be.
Yep. We're going to be kind of bouncing around all over the place now with just random shit. So another thing was proof that there was fraud in the 2020 election. And so they talked about this in the debate. And if you go look it up, everything you'll see is that there is zero proof. There's no proof whatsoever that there was any cheating. Okay? Zero. But if you look into the definitions of it all, fraud in an election and stuff, and interference in an election can be as much as like shadow banning or traffic throttling, things like that, or showing more or less of one thing, right, is in itself election interference. And so one example that is like an actual fact is Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg came out and he admitted that leading up to the 2020 election, he censored right-wing posts while enhancing left-wing posts.
Yeah, and we can also remember the Twitter files that Elon Musk released.
Yeah.
Because he literally posted the files like claiming that they were taking down right-wing pages.
Correct.
And they were paid by the government to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so government funded to take down right-wing pages, posts, etc., while also being funded to inflate left-wing posts. What's going on, babe?
You're so quiet, and I don't know why.
I'm not, because I'm not yelling, I think.
I think because you're just not talking in the microphone, maybe.
Oh, okay. Let me try that. Uh-oh.
Did you turn your knob down?
Yeah, I bumped the knob. The knob was bumped. Hey, dude, I honestly don't even know how that happened. It was way down. Did it fuck everything up?
I don't know. We'll find out.
How long was it going for?
At least, I don't know, like, how long the entire time. So we'll find out.
All right, cool. Weird. All right, I'm back to where I should be. All right, next time, babe, as soon as you see something weird, just yell at me, because most likely I bumped this thing.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know what it was? I was reaching over for my water.
How long ago was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, so that was interesting. But so, yeah, there was zero proof whatsoever until I found this article. Fake absentee ballots in Milwaukee. So there was an election official found guilty of obtaining fake absentee ballots. So that was interesting to see. There was zero proof, no cheating, zero fraud. And then there was an article where she was found guilty and sentenced to, I think, 5 years in jail or prison because of that. So I thought that was kind of interesting that there was zero cheating, none at all. And then, well, actually, this lady's been convicted for it. Oh, crazy. And also, another weird thing, they came out and said that there was interference because there was a vertical line in Wisconsin that shot up in the middle of the night.
A vertical line for Biden.
Vertical line for Biden only. There was zero votes that came in at night for Trump. Only for Biden. Goes straight up vertical line. Never seen before in history of voting. To surpass him by 20,000 votes. to secure Wisconsin, which is crazy that it happened with Trump leading. And then all of a sudden, vertical line, 0 votes for Trump, only for Biden, to put him over the threshold 20,000 to win Wisconsin.
Which I think they just released an article. We just listened to this on Real AF.
Yeah.
That already they've found like 30-some thousand duplicate votes in Wisconsin.
Correct. Yep.
Was it Wisconsin or Michigan? They were talking about both states at the same time, and I couldn't really tell.
So yeah, either Wisconsin or Michigan. Yeah, there's already around 32,000 fake
or duplicate votes.
Duplicates. So there was people who there were. You guys should listen to. I think it was episode 800 or 801 on Real AF. Yeah. 801, I think, on Real AF. It was a cruise the internet, but yeah, there was. Addresses where people didn't live there anymore, people that were dead,
false addresses,
partial business addresses, and just a slew the duplicates things. So there was just a slew of things, and so it's already been proven that there was 32 or 33,000 false ballots sent out, and so it's like, okay, who's requesting the ballots?
Right, like someone's obviously requesting them. Someone's obviously going to grab them.
Mm-hmm. So let's figure out who those are and then hit them with the law. But we're not going to do that. All right, babe, deflating the dollar is yours.
I mean, it's not really that exciting.
Oh.
There is another governmental website that you can go to watch or to look at, federalreserve.gov/payment systems, and some other stuff or whatever. So this just tells you how many bills they printed and how much in money, like physical wise, it was printed. I was telling Shaun, the interesting thing was, so if you look up deflating the dollar, because that's usually what you hear is people saying deflating the dollar. A lot of the answers that pop up is deflation, not deflating the dollar. So deflation, when you look at that, sounds like a good thing because that means the prices of costs and goods is going down,
right.
You know, all the good fun stuff. But deflating the dollar does not mean that.
Right.
Obviously, that just means that we're making our dollar worth less. So then you can buy less with our dollar. Usually means we're importing more goods, or they're more expensive if you're importing.
Dude. This is not going to be able to be on YouTube, is it?
No.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, we could put it up. It just won't. No one will see it.
Cool. Keep going.
And so, yeah. So that was like one that was interesting. Was just trying to look up the definition. So then you can look up how much money we've printed. I was telling Shaun it's very interesting because from, I think it starts in 2001 to 2008 or 9. We print about less than $175 billion worth of money every year. And then 2009, all of a sudden we jump up to like 225 billion, 220, and there's like a 300 in there during Obama's term. A couple 300s actually in Obama's term. And then Trump came in, it came down a little bit. And so in 2019, we printed $173 billion worth of money. In 2020, we printed $216 billion worth. And in 2021, we printed $319 billion worth. Huh. Wild. Why would we do such a thing, Shaun?
It's fucking absurd.
Yeah. So, and like they were saying, like a lot of times we print more money if we need to give more money to other countries, which that would have been leading up to the Ukraine war, so maybe we're preparing for that.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just something that's like interesting to go look at as well.
Yeah.
How much money they have printed.
It's so unhinged. The U.S. is huge on regulations, except regulating the government.
Oh, and the other, like, weird, the thing I was telling Shaun that I don't like, and so this So printing money and also using our strategic petroleum fund or reserves are mainly
presidents.
Yeah. They're the ones that are in charge of how much money we print and how much oil we use and sell and whatnot.
Yep.
So like that's like part of their responsibilities.
Dude, I'll say this. The government regulates us, the citizens. We really, as citizens, need to set up regulations for the government.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly need to start holding these political officials responsible for not doing what they say they're going to do.
Or doing the opposite. We'll keep moving because this is fucking going to be forever. So, COVID. Remember, guys, that happened. COVID. Biden said he would end COVID and not the economy. Okay, when he was running for 2020, for the 2020 election, Biden says he will end COVID and not the economy. Well, he got into office, and that turned into states requiring mask mandates, vaccine mandates, vaccine card requirements, which led to the highest inflation in a long time. But what it did was it put the economy in a lot worse position. Home prices fucking skyrocketed. Rent prices skyrocketed. Wages did not increase at the same rate as inflation went up. But anyway, so with all those mandates and everything, thankfully the Supreme Court, after a lot of bullying and a lot of
people losing their jobs or people getting a job that they didn't want.
Yep. Yeah, all that stuff. The Supreme Court struck down the mandate for businesses with 100 employees or more to have to require vaccine mandates. That didn't stop, though, all the mask mandates, the other vaccine mandates that were out there, and the other places that had vaccine card mandates. So that was interesting.
Let's also quickly throw in here. Remember that at one point in time, places were requiring you to have a vaccine card to even go into them.
Yep.
But those same people don't want you to have an ID to go vote. Wild.
Weird. You got to have an ID to go into a place that says you got vaccinated, but you don't have to have one to vote. Oh, and also, at the same time all this was going on, the border was wide open, allowing in immigrants who weren't vaccinated.
No.
And who could have had COVID and weren't wearing masks. Wild. On to masks. Mask mandates, even though they are proven not to work. So I don't know, guys. I use masks for work. So if I'm demoing something, I'll throw on a mask. A lot of the times, if I'm doing light demo, I'll just throw on like an N95 mask. And what sucks is I would use these dust masks and N95 masks before the world got gay. Then the world got gay, and I don't want to wear them anymore, so I wear mostly respirators now because I don't want to be gay. But anyways, we still keep a box of like dust masks or N95s around because during light demo, instead of throwing on a respirator, it's nice. On the box, dude, it says, warning, this will not prevent airborne pathogens, including COVID-19. And so it's like, okay, guys, the manufacturers are telling us on the box that these do not work for airborne pathogens. Babe, we were just on vacay. How many mental retards were there running around with masks on when the manufacturers tell us they don't work?
I saw a lot more on the flight, the last flight.
Cuckolds is the answer.
Anyways, moving on, John.
So moving on is liberals can't read. All right. So moving on to vaccine mandates. and removing people from positions. So there was the threatening of fining companies for not requiring mandates. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Removing military personnel who refused to get the vaccine.
And they got dishonorably discharged, right?
Correct. Yep. Some of them did. Yep.
And I don't think those have been reverted.
Oh, but they have.
Oh, have they?
Yep. So in some areas, it has been put in that was unlawful and that those individuals get to be reinstated and get back pay for the whole time.
Damn.
Yep. And a lot of people are saying now, like, oh, hey, we did nothing of the sort, like Carhartt. Carhartt puts in the vaccine mandate and for the company, and now they're like, what do you mean?
No, we didn't do that.
No, of course not. There is no one being held accountable for the heart disease and myocarditis from the vaccines.
They're trying to change that.
They should change that. Did you see there's countries who are now banning the use of vaccines in their countries?
Not surprised.
Pretty fucking smart. Mm-hmm. How come when we called to get health insurance? How come when we called to get health insurance, they go, have you taken the COVID-19 vaccine? Nope. Okay, good.
And our insurance is, because we know someone that just called to get insurance, and ours is $150 less a month.
Mm-hmm. And Sam is of childbirthing age. It don't even make any sense.
Yeah. So if that doesn't prove anything too. Oh, also another weird thing. How come, right, all of the whole government had to get this jab, didn't they?
Yeah.
How come you don't hear any of them dying or getting myocarditis?
Weird.
Wild.
Weird. Yeah, very interesting. Well, so all of this, right? Well, all cause mortality is up.
Oh yeah,
it's up right now, and they're coming out with saying like, oh, if you've got long COVID, you have a higher likelihood of having myocarditis. What they don't say is the difference between they didn't in the study, they didn't do the difference between the people that got vaccinated and had COVID and the people that just had COVID. So anyways, interesting. There is a link. It has come out. It's proven. Companies have admitted it. You know, it's been proven that Johnson & Johnson was pulled off the shelf because it was causing blood clots. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, guys, kind of interesting there. Let's not forget about that. And hopefully all of you that got vaccinated are in good health.
Yep. The other fun part was that they said ivermectin was not a good way to cure it.
And then the FDA came back out and says that one of the best therapeutics for treating COVID-19 is ivermectin. Can't make that shit up. Mm. And the whole reason, though, why they couldn't... So they apparently knew that ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine were good good therapeutics. And I just was listening to Andy Frisell today, and they were talking about this again on there today, which is awesome.
Yeah, because they use ivermectin for something else. Like, yeah. It's been known to help for multiple things. Anyways.
Oh, for sure. And so they were talking about it again on the podcast that I was listening to, which I thought was pretty awesome. But yeah, so those were good. Like, those are known to be good therapeutics, right? Mm-hmm. And they knew that ahead of time, but they could not release that, and it could not be a thing. So that's why they were like slamming people, giving Joe Rogan the filter, saying Joe Rogan's like a horse, shit like that, and really downplaying it, because in order to get approval for an emergency vaccine, there cannot be any proven therapeutics.
Stop.
Yeah, so the only way you can get the emergency vaccines is if there is no therapeutics. That's why they shut down and slammed ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine so hard, was so they could get approval to make their billions of dollars for the emergency vaccine.
That's wild. Yeah, also don't forget about how much money they were giving hospitals for recording a COVID death.
That, dude, it has came out. There's actual sheets. Sam and I have looked at the actual sheets that said how much money that hospitals would get for claiming it's a COVID-19 death.
Yeah, and it was for like, if you put them on a ventilator, how much money you got. If you like, it was different things too that like you could get more money.
And there was different tiers, and it was even like they would get a certain amount if they could get them to take the vaccine. Because there's certain amounts that they would get if they could get more people to take the vaccine and shit like that. And so there's like actual schedules breaking down how much doctors got paid and hospitals got paid to push certain things on these people.
Was that the PBD podcast where the lady, it was like a very pro?
It might have been. I think so. Yeah.
It was. We were driving back from Milwaukee, so it would have been in July. We were listening to a PBD podcast about this lady who was all about vaccines and everything, and she was part of the trial for one of them.
Oh, she got all fucked up.
And she's fucked up.
She's fucked up, dude. That's bad.
Yep. And they were helping her pay for her medical bills, and then they stopped. So, but yeah, so it is just something to remember that they will try to make you do anything.
So, guys, let's not forget about COVID. Let's not forget about the mask mandates. Let's not forget about the vaccines. Those are all very real things that happened, even though none of them should have had, just so they could, 1, control us, 2, make more money, and 3, hopefully, as the World Economic Forum has put out, that they only want the population of the world to be 300 to 500 million. So this is just them on their way to getting more people to die.
Yeah. Good. Let's remember, too, where they said how people who don't get vaccinated should be put into camps.
Yeah. And in Australia and some places, they were actually putting people into camps.
Yep. So, yeah, don't forget about the time that they locked you in your houses. Some cities did, like, nightly patrols where you couldn't, like, be out past a certain time. I think the cities did that.
Bro, in Minneapolis, Waltz... fucking Tampon Tim Waltz, who's running for VP, had police officers shoot people with paintballs if they were outside of their home.
Past a certain time.
Past the curfew. What are we talking about, dude? That's absurd.
Yeah. So, yeah, do remember that they tried to keep you locked up in your homes. And now a lot of people are antisocial, have depression, shit like that.
Suicide, shit like that.
I'll throw it out there. My aunt... she was a heavy drinker before COVID. It got way worse during COVID and has now passed because she couldn't stop.
Right, from the work from home stuff.
Yeah,
not the best. Moving on to not prosecuting criminals. So there's raising of violent crime. We have the highest crime ever in the country. Have all the defund the police movements in the blue ran states, which has been working out well for them, and the soft on crime policies. And so...
Did you remember DeSantis, I think, did this whole thing of offering police officers from New York like a stipend, not a stipend,
a sign-on bonus or something?
Yeah, for like if they wanted to move to Florida to be police officers.
That's amazing.
So like I think quite a few New York police officers like took them up on it and like actually did it.
That's badass.
I think they got like a $5,000, like it was a $5,000 bonus or whatever, but like still, like, would you rather be a police officer in New York or Florida?
I love that shit. I love it. Sick. Okay, so those are those things. So guys, you can look at different blue states. A lot of these people are paid, like the attorneys, the judges, stuff like that are bought and paid for by George Soros. It's proven. A lot of soft on crime policies, especially like if you steal under $1,000 limit in California, you can't be prosecuted. Doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Or you can burn down a Target in the cities and not have any consequences.
Yeah, and you didn't have to wear masks during it.
Yeah.
So anyways, and then let's not forget about January 6th. They have been holding people in jail and under their will with no evidence, nothing to like prosecute them with, but they're still holding them.
Right. Well, they've even now have proof of the security just letting them in.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention Nancy Pelosi on camera admitting she turned down the National Guard.
That Trump offered.
That Trump told Pelosi to get the National Guard at the Capitol because he believed that it could get out of hand. Pelosi turned it down, and she admitted it on camera that she is the reason that the Capitol riots and shit happened.
Also, there's videos of like actual FBI and CIA agents dressing up as support J6
insurgents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insurrectionists or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked. But the only way to get a president to there's like two ways to get a president not to be allowed to be a president. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways is if the president does an insurrection. Mm-hmm. So they were really pushing and trying to make Trump be an insurrectionist. So that way he could not legally, by the Constitution, run for president again. And they tried and tried. That's why they used the word insurrection. They tried and tried and tried to get him on the charge of insurrection. And they were unable to because he did not do it. And it was all put together by the Democratic Party like everything else. Like the Russia collusion that wasn't true, that came out, that Hillary Clinton made it up. Anyways, go ahead.
So the reason why in the Constitution, why it says you can, like, it doesn't say you if you're a felon that you can't be president. And the reason that it doesn't say that is because they knew that, like, if Shaun and I were different political parties, I could be like, oh, I want to charge Shaun with raping me.
Right.
Because then I could make Shaun a felon and then he couldn't run against me. And so they purposely didn't put that in there. So then you can't have political parties doing that to each other. And the Democrats tried. They only did it so then to make a part of the population be like, well, I don't want a felon to be my president. So that's the only reason why they started charging him with things, was to try and make his image look bad. Right. But that is why in the Constitution it doesn't say that you can't be a felon.
One more thing to go way back to the election interference. Right before the election, the laptop came out for Hunter Biden. And I think it was like 40 or 50 officials from the FBI and stuff signed off saying like, nope, it's a hoax. It's not true, whatever. Well, turns out Hunter Biden laptop is true. The FBI knew about it the whole time. They had it.
And it's proven that, like, because I just saw an article that it's proven that Joe Biden was taking money from the Russians while he was vice president.
Yeah, dude. So all this shit, and China too.
Yeah.
And here we are like, oh, that's not election interference. Or treason from taking money while you're in office from another country.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so we're going to keep moving on. High interest rates. If any of you guys don't live under a rock, you know interest rates fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Next, there's a thing called inflation. So inflation in 2021 was 7%. Inflation in 2022 was 6.5%. Inflation in 2023 was 3.4%. Projected inflation for 2024 is 2.4%.
And that's not like since 2020. That's every year based on the year prior.
Yeah, every year based on the year prior. So that goes up on that new number of inflation.
So we'll explain it in the terms of the famous meme that I've seen. So I can say I gained 7 pounds in 2021. I gained 6 pounds in 2022. I gained 3 pounds in 2023, but I only gained 2 pounds in 2024. So I've gained less weight in 2024 because they say that inflation is down to 2.4%. But overall, I still gained, 20 pounds since 2020.
Right.
So you still need to think about the fact that, yes, inflation is down, but it is still up 20% or whatever. I don't know if,
right.
I don't think the percentages work like it does pounds, but just because they say inflation is down, it doesn't mean that it is down overall.
Right. And so they go through it. And so it's like, hey, if I'm a 200-pound guy, right? So if I'm a 200-pound guy, and my body weight increases by 7% in 2021, and then my body weight increases by 6.5% next year.
He just does pounds every.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just pounds.
So, anyways,
because then at the end is like I'm still at 220 pounds.
No, it's 40. So it's 241 pounds.
Okay, whatever.
So he's like, yeah, I'm still a 241-pound pile of shit, essentially. Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. Like when you actually add it on like that, and you add the percentages on top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, guys, it's compounding interest, right? Like, if you know anything about compounding interest over time, it's the same shit. So along with inflation being high, and guys, gas prices are more expensive, rent's more expensive, food is wacky expensive.
And they kept blaming it on high diesel prices and high gas prices. Diesel is about the same as gas prices now?
Yeah, I mean, diesel prices have came down a lot.
A lot. So why are food prices still so high?
Inflation. Another thing, wages have not been keeping up with inflation. That's proven. Biden added $6.17 trillion to our national debt in the last 3.5 years. They shutting off oil production, which leads to more national debt, and an increase in fuel prices. Why does it lead to more national debt? Well, if we aren't producing something, okay, it's like an opportunity cost. If we aren't producing that money, then we have to buy that from somewhere else. So not only are we not producing it for ourselves, which then we can have for ourselves and sell to other people, we now are not making that money, and we have to spend other money that doesn't exist, that we get from taxpayers, to buy it and bring it in instead of just producing it ourselves. And so it's a double whammy getting hit. And so that's another thing. All right, so this last section is Sam's, and then we can wrap this up so I can go to bed.
With the LGBTQ rights?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you do that or I?
You must have.
I did that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, hold on. I got it. What's all the other shit?
This was like, the bottom part was the stuff that I came up with.
God dang, dude.
But we discussed a lot of it, so we...
Oh, my God. All right, guys, so the other thing was the LGBTQ rights have gotten off the fucking chain in the last 4 years. Some of the things that have came out from parents and firsthand accounts, some of the things are schools not notifying parents that their kids are identifying another way. And so kids will be identifying one way, and they'll be calling them, whatever the fuck, by not their name in school. So if they're a boy, they're calling them by a girl's name, and they are not telling, and they can be a child in elementary school, and they are not telling the parent about this, which shouldn't the parent be first to know about all things like that?
Oh, yeah.
The media said that the parents are the real threat to children. They're the domestic terrorists to the country and their children. Go ahead.
Yeah, but let's think about, so remember Florida passed a bill that you couldn't talk about, you couldn't use the word like gay or lesbian in schools until they were in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And we had all these teachers saying they were going to leave Florida because they couldn't talk about sexuality until 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the points I had. And that's so... What the fuck? You want to know, dude, growing up, before the 5th grade, how much did teachers talk to you about sex?
None.
That's right, 0.
Because you learn on your own.
Well, dude, you ain't learning about sex in the 5th fucking grade.
No.
You might have a peck. You might peck kiss a person of the opposite or same sex, depending on where you swing.
But you're like, do you remember being bashful with like someone when you were a really young kid? Like,
yeah.
I remember being 4 or 5 and being like super bashful with like one of my boy cousins or something.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking know on your body knows. Your genetics know.
Crazy.
You don't need to be talked to about it. And, ugh.
Dude, I'll tell you what right now, dude. In the 5th grade, I wasn't thinking about any weird shit. I was just thinking about, like, girls are cute.
100%.
You know?
And you're like, I have a crush on that girl. And then you go and hide.
That's it, dude. That's fucking it.
Or you fucking punch them. One of the two.
That's how life goes, dude. And so it's just fucked up, dude. The teachers throwing fits because they can't talk about sexuality to elementary kids. What the fuck, dude? You shouldn't. It just, once you get to sex ed to teach a kid in middle school, like, hey, if you're gonna do this, because kids start doing this around this time, wrap your damn willy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Shaun.
Yeah.
What gender is Mimi?
I know. She's female because she's got a pussy. I get it, dude. Biologically. Yeah, here's the deal, dude. People have mental illness. And so anyways, the last thing we'll say about that is just like the critical race theory in schools. Guess what, guys? It's dividing us more than it's bringing us together. Mm-hmm. So maybe we need to get rid of it.
100%.
Anyways, some of the last shit,
I'll just go through some of this stuff real quick.
Sweet.
Do you remember when there was the chemical spill in Ohio from the train? Guess who was there bringing water and food to people?
Big Daddy Trump.
Mm-hmm. And then I couldn't find it again, which sucks. But the Biden administration actually did what they weren't supposed to do in mitigating it to like make it like actually not harmful to the environment.
Sure.
They did the exact opposite of what environmentalists told them, but I couldn't find the article on it, so I guess you can't really quote me on it. But Biden gave a eulogy to his friend / mentor, who was a former KKK recruiter.
Not surprised.
That's kind of fun. And then 2 more. There was, do you remember the truckers thing in Canada?
Yep.
GoFundMe suspended $9 million in donations to the Canadian trucker convoy that were having peace-filled protests because it was being reported that they were violent protests. But they didn't suspend any BLM donations.
Yeah. And BLM was literally burning down cities.
Yeah. And very last one for a fun fact for you. Let's not forget about Fauci's experiments on dogs.
Fucked up, dude.
Mm-hmm. I do believe there is a documentary coming out of how bad Fauci is.
Yeah. Well, they made the book about Anthony Fauci. That goes into a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, dude, it's interesting, guys. We don't want you to forget about these things, especially with an election coming up. We hope you get out there and vote on November 5th. We hope you vote for the candidate that actually cares about us and actually had a good economy and tried to unite the country instead of divide it. There's a very clear reason, guys. Everybody loved Trump. Everyone loved Trump. There was 12 seasons of The Apprentice, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more. 12? Say there's 12 seasons of The Apprentice. They love Trump. Fucking The View, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, all those bitches loved Trump. Oprah Winfrey would have him on the show all the time. Loved him. As soon as he became the president, everybody turned on him. Mm-hmm. Why, guys? Why is it that we have never not had a politician or a military general or whatever to be a president? We've never had a civilian. We've never had a businessman civilian become the president. The one time he does, everybody who used to love him, look up to him, fucking make songs about him, put him in movies, have TV shows about him. All of a sudden, everyone loved this dude. Now they all fucking turn on him, hate him, make people say that they've always hated him, even though they used to love him. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. But I always hated Trump. I just happened to watch The Apprentice for 12 years, but I hated him. Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting, guys. You gotta fucking look past the surface level at this shit. There's clearly something wrong in the government. Look at where the fuck our priorities are. If you think, dude, if you are that big of a piece of shit that you think we should be helping other countries before we help our fellow citizens, you should not live in this country. You're a fucking disgrace.
You need to have empathy.
No, dude. Fuck that. You always take care of your team first before you help others, dude. I think it's a fucking disgrace what this government does, and that we've got fucking no say and we don't have any fucking regulations on the government.
No repercussions for doing anything illegal.
Dude, these fucking people being paid off by other countries by fucking stealing our taxpayer dollars.
Insider trading.
Dude, dude, come on. Fucking Pelosi ass. Dude, these people should be fucking hung. It should be made an example of so that this shit fucking quits happening. And so anyways, get out there, vote right, and hopefully this country can actually fucking make a turnaround. If not, I'm looking forward to you liberal motherfuckers really paying for it.
And do remember, if you go and vote and you have issues, I've seen a couple posts of people trying to vote electronically and they are unable to select Trump as an option, or Trump is at the very bottom of the ballot. So just make sure, record it on video so that you have proof, and report it to your a voter official. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. Also, right on top of that, if you get in line to vote
before the polls
close, you have to go through the whole line. You have to go through the whole queue. Do not let them let you not vote. Mm-hmm. There's been accounts of people who are in line waiting, and they say, "Oh, polls close at 7. You have to leave." And it's like, no, I was in line at 6:50, and they try to push them out of there. So no, guys, if you're in line before the polls close, you're in line until you vote. They cannot push you out of there to leave. Mm-hmm. That's not how that works.
Nope.
So, all right, gang, let's get this win, and let's bring this country back into greatness.
Cool. See ya.
Peace.